A little bit late, but I gotta get around to this video eventually. Heroin Church guy did some kind of video. Used this little graphic. I think To Be Serious used this one. The scientific method. Here are the facts. What conclusions can we draw from them? Okay, now how have antinatalists, or me, for example, somehow not done that? Not explained exactly what my premises are, what my logic is, and explicitly, in detail, explain the conclusions and why I see no counter-argument. And then now he calls this the creationist method. Here are the conclusions. What facts can we find to support it? Now, even if this was true, you'd still, the argument would be, is always about what counter-argument is there. What makes creationism stupid is the fact that there's a perfectly good theory of evolution, and we have the factual knowledge that first-person testimony is inherently unreliable. And so the entire Bible is just a story. It's not, there's no facts, there's no fossils, there's no anything in the Bible. So it's just a book of stories people tell. So this was just bullshit. Yeah. Gary is preying on the mentally ill to promote his agenda. Gary never made any attempt to prey on you or anyone else. Yeah, very good. It's been known for a long time that you might be a liability because you're emotionally unstable and inconsistent. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then you proved yourself to be for the second time. I mean, damn it. I gave you the... I let bygones be bygones, asshole. And you went and just, spit in my face again, you stupid shit. So, fuck you. I mean, really, you really are too stupid.
I want to talk a bit about the cult mentality in the antinatalist group, and the startling realizations that I've had about it since I snapped out of it. It is a good trap for people.
Oh, whatever. So what if you're trapped now? And then what if you're trapped tomorrow? I mean, this is like some kind of Matrix argument. Oh, I'm out of the Matrix, finally! I'm out of the Matrix! And then you find out next week you're in another Matrix. And then you're in another Matrix. I mean, you're just demonstrating that, you have no consistency. You're completely unreliable as a testifier of anything. Why should anybody believe anything you have to say? You delete all your videos, you say things with arrogance and emphatically, and yet you waffle and change your mind. I've never done that in my life, asshole.
Who are looking to find meaning for a life that they are very afraid of and pained by their own.
Yeah, right. And so what is my crime exactly? Because I say there's a whole bunch of sentient creatures out there that could benefit from your assistance. That I'm somehow a cult leader and a malicious asshole because I merely suggest, well, you could be a vegetarian, you can do this fighting to kill the rich thing, or you can do this, virtual reality thing, or you can do this antinatalism thing. These are all options, all choices, all approaches to how maybe you can expend your energy in some kind of productive way to benefit and to prevent unnecessary suffering, which I have explained to be the core value in the universe. That is the thing that needs to be eliminated. Nothing needs to be created. Nothing needs to be made. The universe doesn't need our maze game. The universe doesn't need a 179-story building. The universe doesn't need a goddamn thing except to have suffering alleviated. Moron. And that's what? Dogma? Fuck you.
Life, that is. And someone like Jay Sounder, whose new username is My Misery and Me, is an excellent example of someone who is trying to justify their own deep depression and antisocial behavior.
Yeah, where do you think his deep depression and antisocial behavior come from? You don't think they come from his life experience and the fact that he has found life to be incredibly frustrating and pointless? that it just has these stupid transitory values, these little silly, very things you talked about 2 weeks ago. The silly little parade days, and then the parade days are over. Okay, and then you got to reconstruct a whole new mechanism of hunger and desire. You got to reconstruct a whole new ego satisfaction and gratification mechanism to get you to sit there and chase and continue to whap the wheel, even though it's breaking your fingers and bloodying you up, and it's putting you at this risk of who the fuck knows what's coming tomorrow. And at the end there's always a piano with your name on it. And maybe those facts have something to do with his state of mind. Maybe understanding that there isn't a God, that there isn't a mission, that the whole thing is run by assholes and little weasels on the internet can say whatever the fuck they want without having to account for it. Maybe all that has him depressed and frustrated. You dumb motherfucking weasel.
With this claim of absolutism, absolute truth, and if you don't have the absolute truth, then you're going to be blocked and silenced.
Well, look, asshole, how are you silenced? You're not silenced. I hear you talking, you little fucking goddamn asswipe. That's what I hear you doing, you little moist towelette of shit. So I guess you haven't been fucking silenced. You're still slandering people, you little twat. It's just such a bogus goddamn motherfucking cunt accusation. And you're wondering why people despise you? We like to puke in your fucking goddamn eye sockets? It's because you're a lousy, rotten, shitty human being. We're all grateful that you revealed yourself for the goddamn fucking herpes virus that you are.
And told that you are a manipulator, and all these names are going to be thrown at you.
Well, let's just look at the facts, right? A rational, decent human being can't really figure out exactly why you did what you did, right? Why would you do that? What crime did I commit against you that you felt the necessity to put all of us in this awkward position, to insult everyone else's intelligence and call them manipulated morons who can't figure out that I'm somehow playing magical tricks on them with the facts? Fuck you. You insult people's intelligence and expect them to do what to you? Except say, fuck off, you little toad.
As soon as I changed my philosophy, all of these people that claim to be my friends...
Well, it's really nice that you're finally admitting that you changed your fucking philosophy, asshole. And don't you think philosophy is like the content of character thing? It's hardly some kind of bigotry. We're allowed to hate people for having hateful ideologies, asshole. And you've given yourself the title of nihilist, which is a pretty hateful ideology for anyone who gives a motherfuck about anything on this planet. So bravo again. Keep making absolutely no sense. I mean, you're supposed to be doing all this challenging the ideology. And this is what you're going to challenge it with? This kind of mush and tripe? You know, this is 4 minutes and 44 seconds of it. Your next two videos are what? 1 minute and 7 seconds? Yeah, you've sure got the argument. I'm sure you have the argument.
And on here, very quickly took the knives out towards me, and I could start to see the cannibalistic nature of them.
How's it? I guess how again? So if the anti-rapists are fighting the rapist, it's somehow cannibalism. I don't think they're the same kind anymore. You kind of established that you're of a whole different kind. All right, that you have a whole different perspective on what means something. You basically said the only thing that means anything is how comfortable I am. And you expect everybody else to say, oh, what a great philosophy. I think Hitler had a philosophy like that. Fuck you.
Now, it's ironic that cannibalism is one of those 4 pillars that they use. So it's like a cult of cannibals. They're willing to cannibalize you. They're willing to harm you.
Oh, whatever. We're willing to give you back exactly what you gave us, which was no fucking respect and a spit in the fucking face. We haven't done a motherfucking thing to you except to say good motherfucking bye and good fucking riddance, you piece of scummy shit. That's all we've done, asshole. Goodbye. Fuck you. Fuck off.
as a means to an end that they will never accomplish. Gary and his followers will never accomplish their goal.
Oh, yeah, so in 2 weeks ago when you're saying it is the logical conclusion for intelligence, again, you were just mimicking words. You had no sincerity, no integrity behind them. So how do I know you have any integrity behind these words? Just maybe these are just your little whiny wet pants words. These are the kind of words you speak when you wet your little diapers, and now you're just complaining. Well, everybody else is wrong and I'm right this time. This time.
They will never bring about the end of sentient life. I'm pretty sure everyone can see that.
Yeah, right. So just talk now. Now you're resorting to the lamest of the counter arguments, right? The resort to popularity, right? So why don't you just argue from God the next time? Why don't you just go all the way up the retard ass?
I mean, in David Benatar's book, he states that he doesn't believe that it's even going to happen.
He does? You have a direct quote of that? I'm not sure.
He kind of just wrote the book as a nod towards mental masturbation. It's something to comfort people who find life intolerable and who have felt imposed upon. I've made the argument that...
Yeah, again, I'd like to see the quotes. I'm don't mean to doubt your integrity. But yeah, I haven't seen the quotes.
I have a very easy life, but I still don't want to be here, really. But I've realized that I cannot say that is got to be the truth for everyone. That doesn't have to be true. Some people can like the addiction chase. And if they...
Well, that's not the argument, is it? Isn't the argument about whether they have the right to impose their perception of value on somebody who has no perception of anything yet? Is it their right to indoctrinate? Is it their right to presume? And most importantly, is it their right to, in the end, ultimately and forever, impose on people who will inevitably find the whole game completely unsatisfactory?
I have no right to take that away from them. I have no right to tell them that they can't do anything. You know, that is such a...
Well, that's not the argument, is it? So again, you just 2 weeks ago, you could somehow figure out the distinctions between these different arguments, and now you can't. Curious. And you're not a game player, and you're not a manipulator. Oh, please. Please.
Violation of their basic rights as a human being for me.
Right, their basic right to impose. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I have a basic right to impose. So now you're resorting to biology, okay? So you're resorted to popularity, now you're going to resort to biology. And because they have penises and vaginas, that means they have a right. That's your argument now. I mean, from that argument, what are you? What kind of thing are you then? If we're going to use biology as the mold and the guide. I mean, by popularity and biology, you're sort of out of luck, aren't you, fella?
To get in their business, we have to be mindful of whose business we are in. And I mean, I'm going to admit that if there was a practical way to bring about the end of sentient life, that was just like snapping your fingers, or maybe it could just be some kind of fail-safe.
Right. So you'll argue against the truth when it's to your convenience. You'll malign the truth when it's to your convenience. And when you're going to, and because the truth you argue cannot be ever appreciated, or we as the human species will never be obedient to the truth. Okay, you don't think the truth should be spoken. You'll call the truth a cult. And you're not manipulative. Oh, please.
Mechanism to get to help the people that don't want to be here to exit gracefully. Which I think brings me back to the right to die. I think that if the right to die is in place, then the ones who want to exit will exit.
Well, look, good luck with that, all right? Because it's going to take a long time. We might get anti-natalism sold before we're going to get this right to die thing sold. Kevorkian went to jail for 7 fucking long, hard, brutal, nasty fucking years. shithead for helping people who were horrifically ill.
So it would be as simple as that. The ones who want to live, they stick around. The ones who want to exit, they exit.
And what? They exit after they're 18 years old, right? When are we gonna? We're not gonna. You know, it's going to first be something only adults are going to be able to access. So that means you're going to have to put in 18 years, get into relationships with other people, and somehow still work it out so you can kill yourself without fucking other people up. Yeah, doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
And I mean, this might sound controversial, but I would also say that they should euthanize anyone with a mental retardation that doesn't seem to be competent in, or if they seem to be suffering, like if they're having a lot of seizures and they just don't have a quality of life, and you can see it as an intelligent person, you can see it as a common sense onlooker, that person should not be made to endure that.
Well, if it's not, if you're declaring that these couples have a right, okay, to do these experiments, and now you're saying, but they don't have a right to love their experiment and want to keep their experiment alive? Is that what you're saying? I don't know exactly what you're saying. Do we do it against the parents' will? Oh, Jesus. Another unrealistic, sack of shit, bullshit, nonsense argument. Bravo.
Also, I'm kind of a little bit of a believer in eugenics to some degree, because I don't think that living a life that is...
Well, good. I mean, that's another reason for me to have no use for you whatsoever, because to think that eugenics can go anywhere good is just plain fucking retarded.
Handicapped in terms of being either unattractive or...
Unattractive? You're going to go by an unattractive standard? You've got to be kidding. Man, you really are dumb. You unattractive? Are you fucking out of your mind?
Some other handicap is not really fair. And if you can make high-quality human beings...
You know how stupid this is? Is that going to change a motherfucking thing? Is that going to change the competition one little tiny bit? They're still going to be the biggest loser in the world, and they're still going to be the biggest winner in the world, and everybody else is going to be somewhere in the middle. If everyone was identical, every male was identical, and every female was identical, you don't think men and women would still find excuses to say that person's attractive and that one doesn't have any pimples, or that one doesn't have any scars, or that one has great tattoos? You don't think people would find ways to still make it a competition? Come on.
That are intelligent and all of these different good things that we value as subjective beings.
Well, so you're making some argument what policy should be based on subjective standards. Not too smart, in my opinion.
I don't even like to use the word subjective because there's a lot of consistency in physical appearance, what people find attractive.
So, there you go. So I hope all these little assholes have been, sucking your parts, heard all of that tripe and crap. And let's see if they got anything to say to that. There's a whole bunch of comments here. I'll have to see if any of the, all the little, whatever his name is, tranquils. I wonder if the tranquils share that crappy philosophy.
It's symmetry, on and on and on, So, yeah, this is just, I just feel so stunned at the fact that I was pulled into that cult, and I'm a little bit troubled.
Oh yeah, you were pulled in by what? How did that happen, asshole? I think you begged to get back in. As I remember, I should go back and look and see if I have any PMs from the old Love That Soy on any of my channels. I have to go see.
Both by
I remember just a couple of weeks ago, too, in Stickam. Remember when you were a little bit stoned, and you were talking about donating some money to my website? And I actually said to you, is this how cult leaders behave? I actually said to you, well, maybe you ought to think about it and wait till you're a little bit sober before you make that kind of decision. Asshole. Didn't that happen, asshole? Yeah, I believe it did.
By which I was greeted just by having a disagreement with them. So that's all I've got to say for now.
Yeah, we didn't have just a disagreement. Well, I'm not going to go through it again. But fuck you. Really. Fuck you, asshole. So I'm not going to play his eugenics video. I had no idea he was going to start talking that kind of crap. But let's play this this derived energy one. Let's just hear his perspective on that little spat.
Yes, I've just watched Derived Energy's video, DE versus J Sounder, and I can't help but agree. I mean, he's saying that in 2011 AD, we're not going to be able to convince people to extinguish the Earth, and that in the future we'll have more cognitive knowledge and science and, you know, have the means and...
Well, duh. I mean, but the argument, you don't start the civil rights movement, you know, on a Thursday and expect it to be over by, like, Thursday evening. That's right, you start it, and then you keep rolling it, and you keep pushing it, and that's the way it works. And so you have to concede that this is sort of just started in the new world of, you know, after Darwin restart, let's call it.
Whatnot to actually go through with it. So,
Buddhism
yeah,
3.0.
Jay is a bit of a fanatic, and that his erratic and unstable personality is a concern. And I mean, I and many others on...
Well, whatever. He doesn't have an unstable personality. I mean, isn't that, again, so you're gonna sit there and pass that kind of judgment. He hasn't talked about UFOs or the CIA being after him or any other kind of crap. He's talked honestly about how he is impatient and frustrated. You know, and what other crime has he committed? He's saying his life is difficult because every day he has to kind of carry this with him and fight through it and struggle through it, and he has to accept the fact that this is this is like climbing a mountain where you don't get to the top. You get to make the path, and the next guy gets to the top. That kind of thing. And so exactly, but again, on what level and what sentences, what paragraph are you going to convict Jay with in the court of rationality? Which one, you little fucking weasel? I mean, I got you on eugenics now. Oh, that'll be fun.
You are concerned about his mental health. Is he going to?
Well, what, you know, you're concerned now. You know, you're like a John Paul Doran. Yeah, maybe you ought to hook up with that guy. Yeah, maybe he's your dreamboat. Okay, you know, maybe he's the one you're looking for. You know, he does. I bet he'll go the way you want him to go. I mean, I can see him, you know, playing hokey pokey with you.
Do something crazy. Is he going to blow up a building or something?
Oh, and if he did, that's being crazy now. Okay, so you don't even understand revolutionary battle tactics, right? You don't even understand, like, you wouldn't consider him a freedom fighter then. You'd just consider him some kind of wacko, right? Because it's not about your cause. It's not about your intent, right? And you're the eugenics guy, though. And no one's supposed to be afraid of you. You're talking about killing people because they're not attractive enough.
You know, we don't know. This is implied muchly in his,
Implied muchly. Yeah. Yeah, you're on a roll, fella.
increasingly aggressive rhetoric on YouTube. He's very...
Yeah, aggressive how? By being honest? So now honesty is aggression? Honesty is aggression! I mean, you know, could you get a little more thought policey, please? Just a little bit more. Why don't you call the FBI on us now? Since you're such a good citizen. Fucker. You are such a fucking weasel.
Very, very deep into the cult mentality, and I appreciate Derived Energy's video on the subject.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't see his video, so I guess I'll play his video. I don't think it is, whatever, as you...
Hi Jay, you have Derived Energy here. I just
13 minutes? Oh dear.
Comment I left in one of your videos, you know, in which I expressed my view that draconian antinatalism is not particularly warranted at this time.
Yeah, well, I'll just argue with that point alone. Look, yeah, I'll concede. You know, I don't really care for your waffly kind of rhetoric. Okay, I mean, you are emphatically pointing out how there's no suffering on Mars, and that's because there's no people on Mars. That's the goal. Okay, is Mars. That's what we want to sit there and give Earth a makeover and make it look like Mars. Alright? That's the fucking agenda. And I would just argue that you're not going to get there by trying to pretend you're trying to go somewhere else. Like you're trying to go halfway to Mars. Or like you're just trying to go to the International Space Station. You know? I mean, that is sort of just bullshit. We might as well just say we're trying to get to Mars. Alright, that's where we're trying to fucking go. And let's just point the thing in a straight line and start marching in that direction. And whether or not it can happen, or whether or not it can happen in the time necessary before civilization will be destroyed by its own fucked-hearted unsustainability, well, who the fuck knows? But let's not pretend we're going somewhere else besides Mars. That's where I'm going, buddy. So, you know, you can go do whatever the fuck you want. But I just don't see any point in saying anything else, and that's all Jay is saying. Mars is the place to be. Let's get there as quick as we can. I don't got a button. He doesn't got a button. So I guess we're going to have to do the democracy and get the government to do the damn thing. But, yeah, if I could fly us to Mars tomorrow, I'd fly us there. Okay? You know, if I could pack us in a little trunk and shove us on our way, I would. If I could push the little boat out to the little sea, yeah, I'd do it. No doubt about it. Because I'm sure that's where we belong. So anyway. So, look, Jay, you're a nice guy. I'm not going to have a fight with you about this shit. But yeah, you're meek. And that's okay. You can be meek. Alright? I think people need to be kicked square in the fucking ass. And I think they need to be kicked square in the ass by an honest argument. And I'm not saying you're being dishonest. I'm just saying it's stupid not to just say that that's the game. And that we're going to do whatever we have to do to get there. It would just be irrational not to. Alright, there's a point where you're the most grown-up person in the room, like Mr. Spock or something, and you're going to do something that maybe all the little Kirks and all the other little dumb idiots aren't going to like, but you're going to do it because you know better. So anyway. Whatever. No offense, but whatever. Whatever.